What is up, everybody? I am Anthony, Ant, your Italian ace, Italian stallion, former multi-time pay-per-view champion, the Italian god, Ant. Joined by, introduce yourself, fellas.
Tyler Peters, and hey, it's always fun to be with you and Dan Ant, and let's talk some AEW.
What's up, everybody? It's Macho Man Dan. Dig it.
I'm digging it.
Dude,
Alright.
I'm always thinking that shit. We are here, like Tyler said, and you're not here hearing us talk about WWE. You're hearing us talk about All Elite Wrestling Full Gear 2022. Can I tell you how I got this pay-per-view, fellas? I did such a terrible thing. But it's not terrible.
What'd you do?
Advice to everybody. Get yourself a VPN, right? I bought a VPN. Okay. So my internet connection thinks it's in the United Kingdom. I was able to get Fight TV Plus, and with that, you get I think it's like a couple of days, and then you pay like $8 a month to get like unlimited access to like AEW stuff. The pay-per-view for everyone else is like 50. I paid $21.
Hey, can't beat that kind of deal. That's a lot better than 50. 21. I'll take that number all the time.
Same.
So just I should have said that because now people are probably gonna go and then it's gonna get shut down. But just be aware that that's out there and you can do that. I mean, it's fair.
Yeah, that idea.
Hey, well, thank you. It's always helpful information. We appreciate you for sharing such wise words. The wise man.
Oh wow! So now you're comparing me to Paul Heyman is because I'm fat? Are you calling me fat?
No, I'm comparing you because you're such a wordsmith. It has nothing to do with that. I am but a nice person.
Where'd I go? I'm still right here.
I was about to say you disappeared. I thought the Halloween episode was over, but it's coming back even.
I still have Halloween decorations up in my house, guys. That's depressing. That's sad. That's sad.
Why is it sad?
Well, because like at least take down the Halloween and you don't have to put Christmas. Yeah, I mean I want to, but there's still some stuff up. Gotta put it down. I feel like I'm at like a coffee house the way they introduced us earlier. It's kind of weird. I was like, introduce yourself, guys.
I love coffee houses, and we'll introduce ourselves and bring it all the time.
I wanted to see on how egotistical you were gonna get. I was like, "Ooh, all right, I'm liking this side of it. I like how egotistical he's being right now."
We like how you're bringing the heat, is what Dan's saying. So keep on, keep on.
I mean, listen, I gotta be a heel. I call Tyler my JR whenever we do our attitude here, and I'm the king. But Tyler, you're actually kind of becoming a little heel. I think you're kind of like turning to my side a little bit.
No, I am. I'm starting to turn on people a lot more, and
you are, dude.
They're for it. I guess
you are
okay with it. So
yeah, watch out. So yes, we're here for All Elite Wrestling Full Gear, and I just want to get a quick question to you guys. What was your did you guys were you watching I know like obviously we've watched AEW before, but did you watch any of the build up to this? Were you guys going into this not knowing? Because I went to this not knowing. I just went to this like, I've seen these wrestlers before, but I don't really know the storylines right now. I wanted to buy it because I wanted to see Saraya fight again. That I know that sounds stupid. Not a lot of people cared. I get that, but for me, I've always been a big fan of hers, so that sold me. So I wanted to see that. Yeah, but other than that, that was the only really match that I knew really about. So what about you guys?
They followed was the MJF and Moxley one. That was really the only one I really followed. I knew about the Chris Jericho match. I knew about it, but like I wasn't following the storyline mainly. I was more interested in the MJF and Moxley match. That was just me though.
I didn't get a chance to really keep up with the product as far as storylines similar to you guys. Just like what Dan was mentioning, it was all about MJF taking on Moxley for the AEW title, and seeing also the ladies with like you mentioned, Saraya and Dr. Britt Baker, Tony Storm, Jamie Hayter. I'm definitely was aware, but in all fairness and respect, I watched more WWE, and I could tell you more about their angles than I could AEW. It's not that I'm picking sides; it's just the facts. But I still thought this was a great show.
I gotta tell you, I agree. I thought, going into this, I wasn't really like looking forward. I was like, okay, I just seen SmackDown, but I
I don't
agree.
have to pick sides precisely, considering the fact that it's just two wrestling brands. I mean, you could have said the same thing for like Impact, Ring of Honor at
No, I'm
before.
saying what I mean is like I was tired of watching wrestling.
I was saying what Tyler said. He's like,
Oh, go ahead.
sides. I was saying technically it's not picking sides. I mean, you can enjoy both brands. I don't feel it has to be, oh, you like WWE or you like AEW. I don't think it really matters. You just watch both products. One you may watch more than the other, but that doesn't mean you like it more. It just means you like wrestling.
No, that's exactly what I was saying. No, you're so correct. I mean, I just think it's enjoyable to watch different kinds of wrestling. Like you were saying, you have an appreciation for it. So, yeah,
Well,
it's good.
Styles, considering the fact that AEW is more PG-14 because that's their rating and everything. They're more violent. They have a bit more cussing and everything. Meanwhile, WWE's PG. So I mean, you can really watch both and be like, okay, well, I get this one and this one. I can like both of them.
Yeah, the only people I don't like, I'm gonna tell you, be quite honest with you guys, the fucking elite. I don't care. Everyone's like, oh my god, when their match comes out, I'm like, oh great, I'm gonna have to sit through a fucking million fucking spots and try to write every fucking moment. And God forbid, like, I don't get excited when I see them because I'm like, here we go, spot fest. That's what I think about when I see them. I know a lot of people like the company is built on them and stuff. Some people think, but to me, like, I'm like, oh great, here we go. I'm gonna have to write a 10 million fucking
I
note.
get what you mean by they're built on them, but like, I'd say it's also more built on like guys like Cody, Jericho, because he was the first champion. I'd say it was also more with them more than just the elite.
No, but I mean like more in the sense of like they were, I don't know if they were shareholders or what they had to do. They had stake in the company and they were, sort of booking themselves a certain way, I think, my opinion.
No,
But I don't know.
I could see what you're saying about the elite. I know it's an easy thing to knock them, and I know that do a lot of the flippy spots everybody gets annoyed with. However, I just think my gripe with them is why didn't we get FTR on the program?
Yeah, I love FTR.
Didn't we get FTR?
Yeah, I would have loved
FTR.
it. I think they are deserving. That's my only thing against the elite. Well, not the only thing, if I'm being fair, but we don't get to see some of the other guys, or girls, especially like FTR. To me, are the best tag team, at least one of them, because I mean they're decorated, they're holding all the belts other than WWE right now, and it's a shame they're not AEW tag team champions. But I'm fine with who represents the tag team division right now with AEW.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Well, let's talk about the pay-per-view itself. So the first match of the night is a special steel cage match. We have Jungle Boy Jack Perry taking on Luchasaurus, his former best friend since 2009. Luchasaurus with Christian Cage at this point. And I noticed this late in the match that Jungle Boy's gear was a tribute to Shawn Michaels from Bad Blood in His House, In Your House. And I learned that supposedly that was Luchasaurus's favorite match, which is why Jungle Boy, I guess, was wearing it to kind of like play mind games with him. I don't know. But so before the match starts, we see Christian Cage. He comes out with a sling. His arm is messed up. And let's just talk about the match. So Jungle Boy gets tossed onto the cage, but he latches onto it and lands a drop kick off the cage. Luchasaurus tosses Jungle Boy headfirst into the steel cage, and he grinds Jungle Boy's face into the cage, and Jungle Boy starts to bleed. Luchasaurus nails a chokeslam off the top to Luchasaurus and nails a huge dominator and gets a 2 count. Christian Cage grabs the keys from the referee without the ref knowing, Cage opens the doors. The guards grab him, and Luchasaurus attacks the guards. Luchasaurus then catapults Jungle Boy into the cage outside and puts a table inside of the ring. Jungle Boy then has a dropkick to Luchasaurus onto Christian Cage, and the Jungle Boy stomps Luchasaurus's head into the steel cage. Um, Jungle Boy does a Canadian Destroyer and a kill switch onto a steel chair and gets a 2 count. Luchasaurus chokes the Jungle Boy through a chair and gets another 2. Jungle Boy does an avalanche sliced bread. However, Luchasaurus sits up and Jungle Boy does as well. This is a cool moment. Jungle Boy wipes off the blood off of his face and slaps Luchasaurus, and he nails a pile driver and gets a 2. Luchasaurus nails a tombstone twice and gets a 2 count. And finally, guys, the end of the match. Not finally because I wanted it to end, but finally because I talked for so long. Jungle Boy puts Luchasaurus on a table and he nails Luchasaurus with a steel chair. Jungle Boy climbs to the top of the cage and nails a flying elbow drop through the table and applies a snare trap, and Luchasaurus taps out. Jungle Boy is your winner. I give that match a 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I know some people might have thought it wasn't as good, but for a steel cage match, I thought it was really good. I'll throw it to Tyler first. Tyler, what did you think of this one?
I thought it was a good physical matchup, as you might imagine, with this rivalry, the issue involving Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, pardon me, and Jungle Boy, and to have his family at ringside was added to the emotional aspect of it. Knowing that his father took him to the wrestling shows, I think that's always important to highlight that. And to see that bump, yeah, that you mentioned, where he came off the top of the cage onto Luchasaurus through the table, was pretty epic. I mean, it took a lot of guts, and it just shows you the heart that these wrestlers have. And you can say what you want to about Luchasaurus, but both these guys worked hard. It was intense, and you know, I'm a sucker for cage matches. I may not like all the gimmick type matches, but cage matches I have a soft spot for, and they did very well for this opening bout.
Yeah, I thought it was a great opener. When I first heard about it, I was like, but they really delivered. They really did a good job with it. That was very different than normal cage matches.
Oh, they
How
did.
about you, Le Champion? What do you think?
I mean, I kind of really have to just go with what Tyler said. It was a great match. They really did put each other through hell. I mean, God, what a match. Uh, I gotta say with like what Tyler said, I'm a sucker for cage matches. They always really pull me into them. I mean, I also liked it when it's like a different brand doing instead of it being like WWE because like I don't know, you kind of feel like you know what's gonna happen in a steel cage match there. In
Yep.
AEW, like it's a little less unknown. I don't know. That's just me though. Um, yeah, it was a really good match. I'll agree. A 5 out of 5, 5 stars out of 5 stars.
Boom. Banging it, doing it well. All right. Well, that was a good match, and they did it well. In the next match, the AEW Trios titles on the line. The Trios champions, the Death Triangle. That's Pac, Penta, and Ray Phoenix, taking on the Elite with Don Callis, who are coming back from being gone after getting into a physical altercation with CM Punk. Uh, and they come out to carry on my wayward son, which it's just kind of like a little bit like can I just say something to you guys? It's
No, go
literally
ahead.
giving me like I'm not trying to piss on them, but I feel like they really think they're the shit. And I just feel like saying it's like you guys are cool, but like only take a small fraction of like the world knows who you are. So like I don't know. I just even think they're better than Elvis. I don't know. I maybe I'm just a big hater. That's fine. But for me, I just feel like they come out and they're like singing and they're playing like they're really gonna save AEW and they're the reason why everybody bought this. Nobody bought. I mean, if you did, good for you. But I didn't buy this pay per view because they were gonna be on. I don't know. I just don't really like them.
Yeah, I didn't buy the pay per view because they were on, and that's not even a knock against them. But I get what you're saying. These guys think they're that over, and maybe to a certain degree, and of that audience they are. But let's think about it. on a grander scale, not so much.
And listen, I get like and I'm if it is their gimmick, they are over the top. But it's a little bit too tongue in cheek. Like it's like we all know their background, that their backstage issue. We know, it's like we get it. Like you don't have to play to us as much. I don't know. Sometimes I think fans know too much sometimes. I think that it messes things up for the wrestling. I kind of like kayfabe to be honest. Um, but
I do
you
too.
know,
I think wrestling was better when it was more secretive.
because I even noticed, like when I was watching the match, and we'll get to it, there was a moment where the fans are chanting "fuck CM Punk," and one of the young bucks smiles at his brother. Like if you like, there's a moment where because I was looking at the reaction, and it's just like it's kind of like yeah, it's cool. It's like yeah, the guy that we got to a fight with's gone. Ha ha. Like it's like very like stupid. Like I don't
It's
know.
like they're acting like children.
Kayfabe. I want to say another thing with like kayfabe on like how it was better or anything. It was a different time considering we didn't have computers and everything, so
Yeah,
really could talk. But at the same time, now that kayfabe doesn't exist anymore, it's kind of harder for like people to have like their own like real opinions if because most people are gonna say, oh, like for example, oh, John Cena sucks. Then most people new coming in are gonna be like, oh, well, then I guess John Cena sucks because a lot of people are saying it. I I don't know. I just feel like kayfabe is good. I feel like kayfabe is a good idea, but at the same time, I feel like if you have too much kayfabe, then at the same time, it's like, well, then it's just what's the difference really from like a movie? It's
Just
just a
say
story.
something to you though. Wait, pause. This made me think of something. It has nothing to do. It has to do with what you're saying, but like I had a really bad situation where I was going to SmackDown, and the guy comes up to me, and I was saying, I made a comment. I was like, well, I was like, I guess I can't buy nothing. I was going to buy something. And the guy was like, have you been here before? And I say, yeah, I used to come all the time as kids. He's like, oh, so you've been to the wrestling? I'm like, yeah. He's like, so you've seen an acting show before, right? And you've seen like a movie. And I said, yeah. I was like so confused. He's like, you know that it's all acting, that it's all fake, and they're not getting hurt, and it's all acting, and da 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 da. So,
Okay, well, it's not just all acting; they're still getting hurt.
so I'm really glad that you don't like it. I said, but I really enjoyed. So I hope you have a good night. I was.
See, I've got a problem with that though. It's yeah, they are getting hurt, like Dan said. Oh, I can't stand it when people go, it's phony, it's
Yeah.
entertainment.
Well,
They get hurt in there just
yeah, I
because
mean,
it's figured out.
I personally have a friend who was a professional wrestler, and he only did it for a year, and he got like I think 2, 3 concussions, and he had to stop because if he didn't, and he got another one, he could have like serious brain damage or even
Yeah.
die. Like it's not just like a joke. Like you can seriously get hurt from this shit. Like people have actually died in the ring from doing this sport.
That's why I
It's
think there needs to be a bit more kayfabe because I'll tell you why. If you believe that a wrestler is gonna fuck you up, then you're not gonna fucking say this shit like this. You know what I'm saying? Like there's too much like sharing every single thing that they do with their personal life. It's like Luchasaurus. You're supposed to be a fucking dinosaur. I don't want to see you doing yoga on your Instagram. Like I don't understand. Like it doesn't make like it's like there's just some things that I think like you can do it. Like, for example, if I was Luchasaurus, you'd see me fucking like, I don't know, like eating grass. I don't fucking know. Like, I get it. Like, I get that there's, I don't know. I'm just an old school person. I just like,
No, me as well. I that's what I always respect about the old school mentality. That where you had the baby faces dressed in one locker room and the heels in another. It made it feel special, and we are losing that. I know
yeah,
times have changed, and I get what Dan was bringing up about computers and technology. It has altered a lot of how we view things, not just with wrestling, but it still drives me crazy. It irks me when people come and say, "Oh, they're just acting." No, it's more than that. I mean, you could look at it like you're watching some kind of film, and sure, there's story to it, but they're athletes. I mean, they are taking some punishment, and I mean, we've aforementioned the injuries and the real risk, the blood, sweat, and tears, and being away from families. It's very difficult, and that's what drives me crazy. You're gonna
another thing, like you just said, they don't have an off time. Normal sports have an off day. Like they have like for football, they have the summer off or something. they always have an off time. The wrestling doesn't do that. That's a whole nother thing. I mean, people don't really like. Some people may not consider it an actual sport, and okay, fine, I can see why because it's scripted. But at the same time, these people are putting their bodies on the line all year. I mean, it's not just like they're doing it from few months to a few months. No, they're doing this all year. So I mean, they can get hurt, and God forbid if they do, they're going to fall behind a lot more than if somebody who's in, like, say, football, because they're going to be gone for a few weeks, even depending on how long it is, then they could fall behind just for a little bit. In wrestling, you are really depending on not getting injured because if you do, you may lose your spot. I mean, wrestling is just a whole different beast than other sports. And okay, there's people who want to say, well, all right, you can watch it as like a movie because some people will use that as an argument for people who are like, oh, it's fake, it's fake. All right, fine. What's the difference between watching that and a movie? It's scripted. That's fine. But again, like we said, injuries can happen. And again, it happens all year. It's not like one sport where it's just okay, nothing really happens.
Yeah, very true. I mean, hey, just ask, John Stossel back when he asked Dr. D that. That's a prime example. And you don't do that.
100%.
You don't question people's occupation because to them it was their job. And I mean, it took a lot of food off tables for their families. So I gained a greater appreciation going back researching a lot of that. And talking with wrestlers, this ain't ballet, even though they have to have the dance partner, if that makes any sense.
Well, let's move on to this match quick. Quick notes here. Ray and Nick Jackson, kicks to one another. The Bucks and Lucha Bros super kick each other and then kip up. The Young Bucks nail a double super kick to Pac, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Pac, whatever.
Yeah, Pac. Yeah.
Pac. Nick dives over Matt onto Penta outside of the ring. Kenny Omega dives onto the triangle outside. Matt nails a tornado DDT to Ray onto the apron. Nick Hurricanrana's Penta off the top rope onto everyone outside. The triangle with triple tombstones to the Elite. Lucha Bros dive onto the Bucks outside. Pac gives Ray a hammer and Ray tosses it back outside. Omega nails a V trigger and Tiger Driver to Ray, and he gets a 2 count. BTE trigger to Ray Phoenix. Pac breaks it up. Kenny Omega goes for a one-winged angle, but Ray hits him with a hammer and gets a roll-up, and the Death Triangle retains the titles. I gave that match a 3 out of 5 stars. It was good, but yeah, didn't really do much for me. I'll throw it to the champion on now, quick. What are your thoughts?
I'm not gonna put anything against the Elite. The Elite is definitely, they're great wrestlers and all, but I do agree with you on the fact that I don't think they need to be like out there like they're the shit and everything. They are good. I'm not gonna say they're not, but I don't think they need to be out there for like a lot of title opportunities. I mean, you had it, you lost it unfairly, truthfully. Yes, that is true, but at the same time, I don't know. I didn't feel like the match needed to happen. It didn't do anything for anybody, in my opinion. It was a solid match, but it didn't really do anything. Didn't forward any storyline. It just didn't do anything for me.
I agree. It just was like, okay, let's just have the Elite show up and have them involved in a match. That's what I thought. How about you, Tyler?
I agree with a lot of what you two are saying. I will come at it from a different perspective. I thought, the chemistry, you can say what you want to about the Elite, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega with Pac and, Ray Phoenix Jr. and Penta is pretty incredible. And you definitely have to be one of those fans that like the Spot Fest to get into these type of matches. But even though I'm not one of those people, I still found myself engaged in this matchup. But I get the argument. Why did we just need the Elite in a match? I know they return, but the way they position themselves, and we could talk about that for a whole nother podcast. But overall, I enjoyed the match.
It was okay. Yeah, it was all right. I think we can move on and talk about this match with the time we have allotted. We have the AEW TBS Championship on the line. The TBS champion, Jade Cargill, with the Baddies, defending her title against the self-proclaimed TBS champion, Nyla Rose, with Vicky Guerrero. and Marina Shafir. And Nyla comes out in a lowrider, and Vicky has on her shirt that says "I'm your mommy." Is that the Rhea Ripley shirt, or is that because I feel like Rhea Ripley has a shirt that says "I'm your mommy"?
She does actually.
Yeah. So,
Was
anyways, we
that
come
some
out in a
sort of
low.
shot?
I don't know, but I mean, she's the real mommy. Let's be honest. Uh, so Jade Cargill comes out dressed like Chitara from Thundercats. I had to look that up. I'm not really a Thundercats fan. Wasn't It was before my time, but I get it now after I saw it. It made sense. So Cargill sends Nyla Rose to the outside and nails a pump kick into the crowd. Nyla sends Jade Cargill headfirst into the steps. Nyla places Cargill against the ropes and nails a diving knee drop and gets a 2. Cargill nails a beast bomb and gets a 2. Nyla nails a jaded on Cargill and gets another 2 count. Nyla misses a swanton. Cargill nails a pump kick and nails a jaded and gets a 3 count. I gave that match a 2 out of 5 stars. Didn't really do much. But So I'll throw it to you, Tyler. What did you think of this?
Wasn't crazy about this match, and I hate to say that with Jade Cargill. We all know she needs more, that polishment in the ring. She has definitely improved since debuting for the company. Nyla Rose, she's got such a unique style, and I get the pairing with Vicky Guerrero, but it's still not resonating with me. I can only speak for myself. Yeah, this match was a little underwhelming. I did not enjoy it as much as I did the other ladies' matches and the matches overall for Full Gear. So there's not much to really talk about. It's not one of my favorites of the night.
Yeah, I I do agree with you. How about you, LA Champion? It wasn't my favorite either. How about you, buddy?
I mean, it was okay. And again, like you guys said, wasn't the greatest match ever. I will agree with Tyler. Jade Cargill has definitely come a good way from when she debuted in the company. So that's at least nice to know. But I mean, again, it just didn't really do much for anybody. I mean, I don't really know the storyline. I didn't know the storyline going into it. It wasn't the greatest match of all time. It honestly just seemed like a match they needed to fill the show. Honestly, it just in my opinion.
I agree. It was just a filler match. I feel like it was a way to kind of put the TBS title like on the show. And
Yeah,
Nyla doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah, she's not connecting with me either. There's a disconnect, the
It
complete
is.
opposite.
It's
Yeah,
weird.
and it hurts the match. I mean, I think if Cargill would have had another opponent, it would have assisted it, or at
yeah, they
least
didn't really have much chemistry together.
Yeah,
exactly.
not a lot of chemistry, but we all have chemistry, and we are going to be right back. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to cover the rest of the card. We have a lot of matches to cover, so stay with us. It was a fun show. We will be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Yes, I'm still your Italian stallion, multiple time former pay per view champion. I am your Italian ace, the Italian god, your number one thing on your mind and on your heart.
Pretty
And
much everything.
I'm everything.
Jeez, we've already heard it all. Look, I liked it before, but now you're doing it again. It's getting a little lackluster for me.
You are everything, and everything is me.
We found some critics.
Well, also, if it feel good, tastes good, then it must be mine. Heroes always get remembered, but legends never die.
What an exchange. I mean, there's no answer, no response, and
Mic drop.
yeah,
And I
drop the
caught it.
mic.
Okay.
Whatever you
You're saying whatever I say, yeah. Thank you, sir. It is. Thanks. I think no one listens to me anyways.
I'm
But
at your mercy.
thank you, sir. Somebody is. So we are the Uncensored Wrestling Podcast, and we're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts. Stream us. Turn up the volume because we're rude.
Yeah, you can jam with the Uncensored Wrestling Podcast.
Pump up the jam, pump it up, pump it up.
See, I knew we were thinking of the same song. Yeah.
Yep. And you can also find us on YouTube where you can see our beautiful faces, except for Dan because he is so good looking that the women kind of like Carlos, they, they they would be throwing their panties at him. So we can't do that.
He's a rock star, Dan. I mean, he sells out arenas. It's really astounding.
You're damn right I do, bro. I mean, shit, I'm just the greatest of all time. I'm the best in the world at what I do, all right?
Well, you must be.
He
I
does
mean,
it well, folks.
from what we're
Although
hearing.
that I'm not sure of what it is, but he does it well.
You know what it You know what it is, and you know what you're gonna get if you don't figure it out, Ant? You're gonna get it. You're gonna get
Oh,
it.
it. Well,
Ooh.
I hope it. I always wonder what it is, but this is what this is. Speaking of it, we have my match of the night that I said earlier, the Ring of Honor Championship, fatal four-way match, the Ring of Honor champion, the Ocho, Chris Jericho, your man, Dan,
Yes.
defending against Sammy Guevara, Brian Danielson, and Claudio Castagnoli. Huge epic match with just four great talents. And let's go over the action. Claudio sends Jericho to the railing outside. Jericho tosses Brian Danielson into the steps. Danielson chops Jericho. Claudio and Danielson nail uppercuts to Jericho. And Guevara also gets uppercut shots as well. Danielson and Claudio shake hands, and the two start to uppercut one another. Uh, Claudio and Danielson nail a double flapjack and a double half crab to Jericho. And that's when Sammy nails a flying double cutter and gets a 2 count. Jericho and Sammy hug and they pose together. Jericho and Sammy playing up this whole heel thing. Sammy attacks Danielson's bad eye. Jericho nails a DVD to Danielson and gets a 2 count. Guevara chops Danielson again. Danielson nails a top rope hurricanrana, but Sammy Guevara lands and nails a Spanish fly instead, catching him. Y2J nails a lion salt to Sammy and Danielson and gets a 2 count. Claudio springboards, but is met with a code breaker from Jericho, but Sammy breaks up the pinfall attempt. Y2J and Guevara start to push each other, and the two brawl. Guevara nails Chris Jericho with his own code breaker and gets a 2 count. Danielson jumps on off the top rope, and Jericho applies the walls. Claudio nails a big boot twice to Chris Jericho. Jericho holds on to the walls. Claudio nails a delayed suplex and a sharpshooter Jericho. Oh my God, the action is non-stop, you guys. I feel like I'm
It's incredible. It was action packed for sure.
the whole match. Danielson applies a label lock, and Claudio has a sharpshooter on at the same time on Chris Jericho. However, Guevara breaks up the move by kicking both men. Y2J hugs Guevara, and Guevara hits the GT and shooting star press and gets a 2 count. Brian Danielson slaps Sammy Guevara hard, and Claudio nails a military press, tossing Guevara onto Y2J outside. Both Claudio and Danielson elbow one another again in the ring. Guevara with a top rope cutter and a top rope Spanish fly to Danielson, but Danielson locks in a label lock. Jericho with a springboard drop kick to Danielson to the outside. The ending's coming up soon, guys. Trust me. Guevara nails a beautiful shooting star press to Claudio outside of the ring. Claudio nails a neutralizer to Danielson outside prior to this. And then the ending comes after Claudio spins Sammy, and Chris Jericho nails two Judas effects to Claudio and gets a 3 count. Chris Jericho retaining the Ring of Honor title. And I'm going to shut up now because I talked so much. I give that match a 5 out of 5 stars. What do you think, Dan?
It was definitely the match of the night, in my opinion. I mean, as we said, it was action packed and all that, but I will say that they didn't overdo it. Like they didn't have too many spots. You know what I mean? Like it
Yep.
wasn't just a spot fest, one after the other, after the other, after the other. It was perfectly well done, especially for a fatal four way containing those exact guys. I mean, they just played each character to perfection. I will say though that I feel like considering Sammy and Jericho didn't really fight, it could have really just been done as a tag team match. I don't feel like it had to be done for the ROH title, but considering the circumstances and how they did it, I still feel like it was done very well. I definitely think the right man won because, of course, my guy Jericho, my boy. It would have been interesting to see Sammy turn on Jericho in that match, though. I will say that would have been a very cool spot to see, but I still feel like it was very well done.
I 100% agree with you. It could have been a tag match, but I like the dissension between everybody. But
Yeah.
Tyler, what do you think?
I like the match a lot. I do enjoy seeing the Blackpool Combat members and the Jericho Appreciation Society teammates having their issues during the match. It's just very appropriate storytelling. And when you got Claudio Castagnoli and Bryan Danielson, technically, and Jericho himself, I mean, the technique these guys have, like Dan was saying, it wasn't too many spots highlighted throughout. It had just enough to reel you in and be logical. So I want more of Sammy Guevara taking on Jericho.
Mm,
That's what I got out of it, and I wouldn't mind seeing Danielson versus Claudio. I mean, I'm sure down the road we'll probably get that,
yeah.
but maybe not right now.
Yeah.
But overall, just a great match. There was so much to try to break down. I'm not going to do that, but I just came away. What an amazing match.
A lot, so much stuff. A lot happened.
It wouldn't have been better anywhere else. I feel like if it was like in WWE, it just wouldn't be nearly as good.
Yeah, it might have been a little. It might have been a little bit different. But speaking of a little bit different, we have the return after a 5 years absence. I think Soraya taking on Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Soraya's brother Zach Zodiac is at ringside for the match. Let's dive right into the action. Britt nails a shoulder tackle to start. Soraya nails a thrust kick. Britt elbows Soraya's neck and lands a twisted neck breaker onto the floor. A lot of people were talking about that. Were people saying that it didn't look like she really hurt her? I don't really know. There's a lot of like people laughing about that move, but I didn't see anything wrong with it. Maybe I'm just like not really like into that. But anyways, Britt elbows Soraya's neck and lands a twisted. Oh, I just said that. Hello. I don't know where I am. Hi. Britt grabs her glove and nails a third neck breaker, and she chokes Soraya. Soraya drops Britt face first onto the apron and nails a diving cross body onto the floor, and then throws her in the ring and gets a 2 count. Britt sends Soraya into the turnbuckle. Soraya nails a nightcap and gets a 2. Britt nails an air raid crash, and that's a 2 count. Soraya nails a top rope power bomb, another 2. Soraya with a thrust kick and a knee strike. Britt then nails a fisherman's neck breaker and a stomp, that gets a 2. Soraya with a running knee. And what does she call her finishing move? What was that move called? The page turner or something. I forgot what she calls it in AEW, but
I forgot too. Maybe Dan can help us out.
I unfortunately don't know.
so we'll call it the page. No, it's not the page turner. It's the one where she nails it's almost like a DDT kind of. She like grabs them between her arms and just drops them. She nails 2 of those, and Soraya gets the win. I'm gonna be I'm gonna talk shit about Jim Cornette for a minute because I always like to grind Tyler's gears. I'm gonna be like Jim Cornette and just give this match a 5 out of 5 just because I really like them. And I feel like I was happy to see Soraya back. I know a lot of people were talking crap about her and that she wasn't ready and but they had a great match. I mean, no one's ready, when you come back, really. I mean, you gotta just see what happens. But I enjoyed it. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I'm honest. It probably wasn't worth it, but I gave it that. Tyler, let me throw it to you, sir. What did you think?
Oh, I was happy that Soraya had returned after 5 years or however long it was. And Dr. Britt Baker, to me, you just appreciate her so much. Every single match, no matter the controversy, no matter what you're hearing, from rumors and speculation, what's going on with this whole women's division, she is consistently just providing us with some great matches. And it's a credit to Soraya as well because it takes both of them. I just actually I thought the match was good. This was one of the matches that delivered for sure, just on Soraya's return alone, and getting to see DMD, Dr. Britt Baker. She is easily the face of AEW for that women's division, or has been, and I think will continue. Not just in the past tense. She'll be the future for a long time.
I can see her holding the title. I agree, man. How about
Yeah.
you, Dan? What do you think?
I will definitely say if the ROH title match didn't happen, this would definitely be my first place winner because I mean this match was it was very well done. I mean,
Mhm.
considering the fact that Saraya wasn't exactly ready to like she technically was ready and everything, but like she hasn't really been in the ring for a few years, and I feel like it was done pretty well, and I really love both women. I mean, both women are just excellent in the ring and they're good at their craft. I also do want to say I love Soraya's theme song, "Zombified" by Falling in Reverse. That's one of my favorite songs. I
I'm
actually
gonna
think
have
that
to listen to it again.
It's a
it's
cool
a good
theme.
theme song. I loved it. But anyways,
Zombified.
Zombified by Falling in Reverse. But anyways, it was definitely a great match. I was very happy to see how good Soraya did, considering the fact that she hadn't been there in a few years. So I really loved the match. I would give it a 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 stars.
See, that's why we all get along here. We all agree. Great. Sometimes. Um, we have our next match, the TNT Championship on the line. The TNT champion Wardlow defending against Powerhouse Hobbs and against the Ring of Honor TV champion Samoa Joe. Let's talk about this match. Wardlow attacks Joe and sends him into the ring post outside. Hobbs tosses Wardlow into the steps and nails a vertical suplex to Wardlow and gets a 2 count. That was impressive. Um, Powerhouse Hobbs nails a T-bone suplex to Samoa Joe, which was impressive. Wardlow nails a flying dive onto Joe and Hobbs outside. Joe tosses Wardlow outside and nails a enziguri to Hobbs in the corner and a running boot as well. Joe applies a guillotine to Hobbs and Wardlow spares Joe. Wardlow nails a huge spine buster to Joe and gets a 2 count. Hobbs nails a spine buster to Wardlow as well and gets a 2. And the end comes after Wardlow nails 3 power bombs to Hobbs. However, Samoa Joe nails Wardlow with the TNT title, and Joe applies a choke, and Powerhouse Hobbs is out. And our new TNT champion is Samoa Joe. Um, I give that match a 3 out of 5 stars. It was good. Samoa Joe looks great. I love Samoa Joe. And I'm never really a big fan of the beefy guys go. I thought they could have done more. It was good for what it was. Uh, yeah, what did you think?
I'm gonna disagree a little bit on what you said. I'd give it more like a 3 out of 5, 4 stars. It was a really good match, I feel. I mean, yeah, I agree. They could have definitely done more. But I mean, just I like the way they put like Joe like in the spot where like he hits him with the TNT title or whatever. I think it worked very well. That was just me. I think they did a really good job. I mean, I don't really think it like forward any storyline, but it definitely did put Joe over, and I really liked that in a sense because like I do love some Samoa Joe, so
Me too, man.
I'd give it a little higher rating, but I wouldn't say like go too far with it.
Maybe
That's
like a
just
3.5, a 4.
a half for that's me.
How about you, Tyler?
The match featured 3 powerhouses. I mean, speaking of powerhouse hops, pardon the pun, but it's a shame Wardlow has lost a lot of momentum. I
Mhm.
mean, I have noticed that even without watching AEW, it's a shame. They gave him kind of the Goldberg treatment, which actually worked, believe it or not, in all elite wrestling. And Samoa Joe, I'm happy with the result. I'm like you fellas. I mean, Samoa Joe's incredible, and I'm happy he's the TNT champion and has a belt with Ring of Honor. But it left a lot to be desired. I get where you're coming from with that, but to me, Warlow, I feel bad for him. I think not sorry, but just bad because he was riding such a wave. So I'll be interested to see the next chapter for him. More out of this
Who
match.
knows? Maybe he could be going for the AEW World Title. Who knows?
That's possible. I mean, that would definitely be a step in the right direction. Not even criticizing the creative here. Just something I've observed. Pardon me, with Warlow, his progression.
Well, hopefully we'll see what's next for Wardlow. We do know that Samoa Joe is Ring of Honor TV champion and now AEW TNT World Champion. This next match I didn't care for, but we're going to talk about it. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal with Sanjay Dutt taking on Darby Allin and Sting. Let me just go over. So Lethal has a Sting squad come out at first. Darby Allin emerges from this fog and nails everyone with a skateboard. Sting is behind Jeff Jarrett in the ring. Fans start to chant TNA during this moment. Sting and Darby Allin punch away at Jarrett. Sting sends Lethal into the crowd, and Allin sends Jeff Jarrett into the guard railing outside. Let me turn over my notes, guys. Ooh, here we go. Um, Allin suplexes Jeff Jarrett outside, and Allin sets up a ladder. Sam Singh catches Darby Allin, who jumps off the ladder, and Singh tosses him hard to the ground. Jarrett sends Allin into the steps and nails him with a steel chair and a clothesline. Singh applies a scorpion deathlock. However, Sanjay Dutt gets in the ring, and Singh chokeslams Sting. Jarrett makes the pin, and it gets a 2 count. Lethal nails a lethal combination to Allin and gets a 2. Um, Allin nails a stunner to Lethal. Allin goes for a coffin drop, but Jarrett nails Allin with a guitar shot as Allin jumps off the top rope. Sting nails a coffin drop, scorpion drop combo alongside the help of Allin, and Sting nails a scorpion death drop to Jarrett. And the ending comes after Allin nails a coffin drop to Jay Lethal, and they get the win. So Darby Allin and Sting get the obvious win here. I give this match a 2 out of 5. I feel like every fucking pay per view they gotta do Darby Allin and Sting against somebody. Like it's like every fucking pay per view gotta have Darby and Sting. I like them. Sting's never really been one of my favorites. Maybe that's why I don't really get the hype. I respect him as a wrestler for what he did, and at his age, being able to do what he does, but I'm just never really been a fan of Sting too much. And I was, looking forward to see what they were going to do. But again, really didn't do much for me. I'll throw it to you, Tyler. What did you think?
I thought the match was fine. We weren't going to get a lot from Sting and Jeff Jarrett, but what they were able to provide, gave us a lot to desire. That's why I'm going to respectfully disagree, just because I'm coming at it more that I followed Sting's career and Jeff Jarrett. And Jay Lethal, I mean, he's impressive. So is Darby Allin. Let's not forget about the young guns. But for me, it's more nostalgia. I guess I'm a sucker
Yeah.
for that. It's the history, regardless of your feelings on these particular wrestlers. I actually like the beginning where Allen was sneaking up on him, the body bag like you laid out. And hey, this is Attitude Years kind of nostalgia. Ain't he great? I mean, Double J, who would have thought, seriously, that Sting and Jeff Jarrett, we're still talking about them now in
Yeah.
2022. I
No,
think
you're
we talked
right.
Yeah,
about it off air.
really.
That's the thing I think I took away more. Go ahead.
So here's my
Especially into
question
like
for you.
2015 when Sting got injured.
But do we think, though, honestly, I'm glad you said nostalgia here. Because don't you think that this whole entire match just set it for Sting to do a couple of Scorpion death drops and then a Scorpion death lock and like call it? I mean, that's just pretty much what it's set up to do. It's like a
I
Goldberg
mean,
situation,
Well,
like
I think
I
they have
see
to
what you're
protect
saying,
him.
but I don't see how that's necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes you want a little nostalgia act. I mean, that's what gets people
I
hyped
get that.
sometimes.
But when you have a 3 hour and 55 minute pay-per-view, I mean, I'd rather see that on Dynamite. Like it's like there's some things like maybe it's like that's why I'm saying it because like it's already so long, and I feel like I'm the type of guy where I think I've said this
When he
before.
has to watch wrestling, that's so long.
No, but
When
I'm saying like I rather like have like a 5 or 6 card pay-per-view, like a 6 match pay-per-view, and have them be like every match matters than have it be like Extreme Rules. There's maybe like 6 matches on that card and every match mattered. Here there's 12 matches and you can at least get rid of 4. You know what I'm saying? That's my only thing.
I
And I
mean, I see what you're saying, but like sometimes you don't always need matches that matter. Sometimes you can just like enjoy like a nostalgia match. Like I mean, not every match like matters at WrestleMania, but like then again, we also get like 10 matches that sure may not
no,
matter,
I
but
don't like
they're
that
entertaining to
either.
watch.
I talk my shit about WrestleMania too when that shit happens. I'm just not a big fan of when they do but like I just feel like in 2022, like Tyler said it's nostalgia. I get it. It's just like they're trying to make it like we're supposed to take them seriously, and that's the problem. It's like I can't take Sting seriously. Never was able to. I
Look, I agree
I
on the fact that you say that you can't take them seriously, but I mean, you can't also disagree with like how good they are for their age. I mean, Sting's doing pretty freaking well for like injuries and stuff that he's suffered in the past, and yet he's still going
Yeah,
pretty strong.
yeah.
I mean,
But
Jeff
again,
Jarrett isn't going exactly as strong as he could be, but I mean, he's still going really good for his
I
age.
know. I get it. I just feel like again, I just feel like for me, it's too much like WWE doesn't do this a lot, and maybe that's why I'm not used to it. But I feel like it's a lot of it is like
Whoa, whoa,
let's.
whoa, whoa! You just said WWE doesn't do this a lot. I mean,
I
bro, do
mean, in
you
this,
not remember?
I mean, in the sense of like nostalgia acts lately.
Yeah,
And a lot of
literally. I mean, DX. Do you not remember
yeah, but
that
that
whole thing?
just happened for because of 25. Like if you go back to last year, think about it, what really nostalgia was there? Goldberg.
I mean, you can get like we've had a lot of nostalgia acts in like the past, like APA,
But is it
JBLs. Like,
every single pay-per-view?
no, all right, fair point. I see what you're saying on that.
That's the only thing I'm saying. It doesn't have to be every fucking paper. Literally, if you go back and look, like I'm doing a countdown of AEW's top matches, the amount of fucking Darby Allin and Sting tag team matches, I'm like, dude, can they maybe like fucking like have Sting go? I know he can't, but like every fuck, it's like, dude,
Well, what's wrong with an old guy tagging with a new guy? I don't see exactly
because
what's wrong with it.
it's just like you. I don't take it. It's like, oh well, me and my father. But we really stand a chance. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta, like I don't know.
I just look at it, and I think you guys made some good points, very valid ones at that. I just look at it as they got to protect him because of injuries, even though he is healthy, and I think they disguise that with a tag match. That's why we see Jarrett and Lethal.
I know.
And so I'm trying to look at it from a different perspective, but yet
I
giving
feel
you guys your due. So
I just think like I look at Stone Cold Steve Austin, like the amount of injuries he's had. Like he's not on every fucking pay-per-view, and he had that WrestleMania moment, and it's probably going to be one of the
No, but
highlights.
I mean, like the
you know?
Undertaker had like 5, 6 other matches after his streak ended, which he didn't need to.
I
You could have
get
easily
it, but
ended
but
there.
like it wasn't every single pay-per-view. Like it wasn't like back to back to like every AEW period. It's like they're pimping him out. They're like, okay, let's put Sting out here. Like we get it. He's cool. He does his dive off the fucking. He leaps off the balcony every fucking show. Like we know he's going to do that. He does the scorpion splash. It's like Hulk Hogan. It's being overdone for me. I feel like.
Okay, no, again, I agree with you. I will agree on that. But like at the same time, WWE's also done that in the past with like Ric Flair, as we were discussing earlier. Like off air, we were discussing that.
Yeah, but I think in more recent times, I think it's been more, and I get it, they're trying to reach the fans like Tyler who grew up on Sting, and that's cool. But like me, I grew up on The Undertaker, and I can tell you that his Saudi Arabia match fucking bombed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, I just feel like you don't need to do that. I don't know. We'll move on. I think it was good to see it.
No, it was a
Tyler,
good argument. Huh?
did you both speak about this?
I did speak about it. I think Dan needs to. I don't
Yeah,
know.
go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, all I can really say was like what I said earlier was that I think they did very good. Like Jeff Jarrett and Sting did pretty good for their age. I mean, I'm still amazed on how Sting goes, being his age. But I mean, it was definitely cool to see Darby Allin and Wardlow go in it. That was pretty cool.
Oh, who? You said Wardlow.
I'm sorry.
I'm seeing.
Jay Lethal. I'm sorry.
Oh, Jay Lethal.
Wow.
I'm sorry. It's been a long day. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Listen, I feel you. Well, let's move on. Speaking of long days,
I didn't say Wardlow shit.
we're going to be talking about women now. The AEW Women's title is on the line. The AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm defending against Jamie Hayter. And these guys are friends, so I was excited to kind of see what they were going to do together. So Toni nails a drop kick and hip attack to the outside. Toni then sends Jamie into the post twice, and then Toni chops Jamie against the post, and she goes to chop her again, and Jamie moves, and wham, bam, shangala, sha-la-la-la.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Dude, I don't know that song, but it's okay. So the two start to punch each other, and Toni Vez presses Jamie. Toni nails a tornado DDT and gets a 2 count. Rebel runs down. Toni is bleeding from her nose. Jamie pounds away. Rebel hits Toni with a title belt. Jamie nails a sliding clothesline and gets a 2.
Referee kicks out Rebel. Rebel has like a heart attack. She has a convulsion. She's like, she's just fucking screaming like the devil. Britt stomps. Or I'm sorry, yeah. So Tony Storm nails a huge clothesline. Brett then stomps Tony Storm on the belt outside of the ring. Jamie nails a Storm Zero and again gets a 2 count. Tony's able to nail a pile driver and gets a 2. Jamie nails a hip breaker and that gets a 2 count. Tony runs into the ring post and Jamie nails a hit and gets a 3. And your new AEW Women's Champion is Jamie Hayter.
I gave this match a 4 out of 5 stars just on the fact that how much it took to put Tony Storm down. It made Tony Storm look really good. It made Jamie Hayter look good too. But I think that this could be a good rivalry between these two. I don't think that this match is, I think this is far from over. So I'll throw it to you, Dan. What did you think?
I thought it was a good match. I mean, I will agree with you on the fact that you said how it made Tony Storm look strong and all that. I mean, I heard speculations that it would be actually for the women's championship, but obviously they didn't do that. It was for the interim championship, which is fine, considering Thunder Rose is injured and all that. But I don't know. It was
I
a good
hate how
match.
they
I'm not
do
gonna say
that
it's
shit. Like, just give the person. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like, okay, I'm injured, but I'm still a champion.
Bitch, no, you're not. You got injured. You're out of the game. When you get injured in a racing event, okay, are you still
I'm
able
gonna
to
beg to
compete
disagree with
eligible?
you on that factor. I think the interim championship works, considering the fact that when the champion comes back, you have a champion versus champion match to see who the real champion is.
Yeah, but that's lazy. It's like, okay,
I mean, I can see what you mean, but I personally feel it works. I think it's an interesting concept because not every. I think it's different. I think that's why I like it because it's different.
Here's my problem with this, guys. Don't you think that it kind of takes away from the actual champion? Like Thunder Rose is a champion, but we're not even. I mean, you brought her up, but I mean, during the whole pay-per-view, she wasn't really brought up. It's like you're having 2 champions. It's confusing sometimes. I just think that have one person be champion, that person's injured. Okay, great, drop the title, give it to somebody else, and then have that person come back and be like, I didn't really lose it. Because when you have someone be the interim champion, it doesn't really matter. It's like they're the champion right now.
But if you have everybody come back and be like, "Oh, I didn't lose the title," then it kind of loses meaning.
Not everybody, but I mean, it depends on the person. I feel like it depends on the type of injury. If it happened during when the two were fighting, I don't know. I just think that
Like I said, I just like it because it's different. It's like not every wrestling company does that. They mainly go for the idea of, oh, well, you're injured, you lose it. I just personally like that little different aspect of it. But that's just me.
Yeah, no, it's a good. I mean, listen,
That's interesting.
Cool. It's interesting. It's cool. I don't hate on it. I just feel like for me, I even forgot Thunder Rosa was the champion just because it's like right now it's Tony Storm is the interim champion. So it's like kind of confusing.
Yeah.
It takes me some time because I'm old. So let me throw it to you, Tyler. But you did like it, Dan, though, right? Yes, no, maybe so.
I was like, what happened?
Wait, so you did like the match though, right?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking to Tyler.
No, you're good. You're good. You enjoyed it? Good. I did too. All right, Tyler, how about you?
I said you enjoyed it too.
I thought the match was solid. I love the physicality, and I think the backstory is what helped me understand why it was so good that Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm knew each other. They were friends over in Britain, in England, roommates.
I think they left each other with each other during COVID too. They said, I think, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was referring to. Thank you for that because that's an important point, Ant. And I just like the physicality. And I think this is one of the better matches that I've seen Tony Storm have since arriving in AEW and for Jamie Hayter. So I'm happy that Hayter got the interim women's title because I feel like she's another one that could be the future like Britt Baker.
Yeah, I'm glad they changed it up. Go ahead.
No, I think it just adds to more you could do from a creative aspect or viewpoint is another word I'm getting at. So I thought overall, in general, it was very good. It was actually better than what I expected, honestly.
Yeah. One thing I like about AEW really quick is that they don't care so much about who is their champion. They don't care about like if they want you to be a champion, you're gonna be a champion. Jamie Hayter doesn't in my eyes fit the bill of a champion, but that's okay because I'm going to grow to like her, I think, because I'm going to be able to see her more in action as a champion. So I feel like you got to give people chances, even if you don't really necessarily think they could really fill those
Yeah,
boots.
because like
Give
in
it a try.
AEW, you don't have to fit like the image of like, oh, I'm a big tough guy or woman because that makes me the champion. No, they go for different styles, different people, and I like that about AEW.
Me too. I like it. I love it. Let's talk about this next match. The AEW Tag Team titles on the line. The AEW Tag Team Champions, The Acclaimed, defending against Swerve and Our Glory. That's Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Swerve makes Keith Lee fist bump him before the match because these two aren't necessarily on the same page. Swerve likes to cheat, as we can tell in this match. So, Anthony Bowens lands a scissors me dive to Swerve. Swerve sets up the railing and Keith Lee tells him to stop. Bowens suplexes Swerve on the outside. Swerve then puts Bowen's hand in his back pocket and stomps his head. That looked sick. Max Caster nails a flying hurricane run to Keith Lee and a flying leg drop to the back of Lee's head. Anthony Bowens with a combo cutter slam to Swerve, and that gets a 2 count. Keith Lee saves Swerve from falling onto the railing. However, Caster nails a flying crossbody to Keith Lee. Keith Lee goes through the guard railing. Swerve nails 4 kicks to Anthony Bowens, and he kicks out. Swerve misses a Swerve stomp, and the arrival gets nailed to Swerve and the mic drop, but Lee breaks up the pin. A fall from Glory to Max Caster, but that gets a 2. Keith Lee rams Caster onto Bowens and nails a power bomb to Max onto Bowens. The end comes when Swerve takes out some clippers and Billy Gunn runs down. He makes a save. However, Swerve tells Keith Lee to use the clippers on his opponent. Swerve tosses the clippers out. Or I'm sorry, Lee tosses his clippers out. Swerve slaps Lee across the face. Keith Lee lifts up Anthony Bowens, pats Bowens on the back, and leaves. And Anthony takes control and nails a scissor slam, and the Acclaim retain the AEW Tag Team titles after Keith Lee said, "No, bitch, I ain't teaming doing shit like that." So I gave that match a 3. What did I give that? 3, 1, 2, 3. No, I give that a 4 out of 5 stars. It was good, but again, I didn't really do it for me. Let's start our quick thoughts on that one. I'll go to you, Dan, first.
It was a good match. I mean, there's not really much to talk about. It was what it was. It was just a good match that entertained.
Keith Lee ain't playing no more with Swerve. How about you, Tyler? What do you think?
I liked it. I thought it accomplished what it needed to, and they definitely have chemistry when talking about Lee, Swerve, Strickland, and the Acclaimed. And hey, listen, I think we're going to see the Lee versus Strickland feud now after all the aftermath of this tag team title match. So I have nothing really to add other than I found it enjoyable. Was it the greatest? No, but it didn't need to be. So it was still very good.
It was decent.
It was better than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to move on quick. We're going to cover the match, and then we're going to give our take on it when we come back from our last break of the night. The AEW Championship is on the line. The champion, Jon Moxley, with William Regal at his side to defend against MJF. Let's talk about some notes here. Moxley chops MJF and drags his face across the ropes. And MJF does Ric Flair strut and runs across the ropes, and Jon Moxley bites him. Moxley continues to bite him throughout the match. Moxley nails a Falcon Arrow and an arm bar. MJF spits water in Moxley's eyes, and Moxley tosses MJF into the steps. Moxley nails a cutter to MJF and stomps MJF. MJF nails a tombstone on the apron of Moxley and gets a 2 count. Moxley pile drives MJF off the apron through a table outside of the ring. Moxley then hits a paradigm shift and gets a 2. MJF nails a heat seeker, which is an amazing looking move, and that gets a 2 count. Moxley nails an avalanche paradigm shift, and MJF gets the breakup pinfall by putting his finger on the rope. MJF spits on Jon Moxley, who yells at him, "Hit me, motherfucker."
which is great. MJF pulls the referee in the way as Moxley runs at him. MJF has a dynamite ring. William Regal walks down and he tells MJF to put it down. MJF tosses it and gives William Regal the middle finger. A second referee is knocked out in the process of everything happening. Moxley applies a bulldog choke. MJF taps, but the referee doesn't see it. William Regal comes in, slips the brass knuckles over to MJF deliberately. MJF nails John Moxley and becomes your new AEW World Champion. I gave this match a 4 out of 5 stars. The ending was great. I was upset that people were talking about it. You know, a lot of people were thinking this was going to happen, saying that, you know, the devil, you know, William Regal, that whole entire thing. But I want to get both of your fellas you guys, who I don't know how to say the pronouns, whatever. Both of y'all's takes when we come back. So everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. That was our last commercial of the break, whatever you want to call it, of the night. So we just talked about MJF defeating John Moxley, becoming your new AEW World Champion with the help of William Regal tossing in those brass knucks. So Tyler, what do you think about the match and William Regal's turn?
I thought the match was just incredible because of MJF. Nothing against Moxley. He worked hard. I know everybody wants to always knock Mox, but to me, MJF, I'm just such a fan of what he does. He's that prototypical heel, but he represents kind of a new generational heel, but with shades of a Piper and some of those people that you can draw parallels. But I loved how he was taking the risk. Moxley really made him rethink his strategy a little bit, but yet he was still true to himself. And I love the ending. I'll just go to that. I like the Regal turn. Or, sure it was confusing, but I like where it's going to lead. I thought the match overall delivered. Now, was it one of their better matches? No, but it was still told a phenomenal story.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was a pretty, it was decent. The story was good. I'm excited to see what's to come of it. How about you, Dan? What do you think, sir?
I actually want to disagree with Tyler a little bit. I really think this was actually one of their better matches, probably their best, in my opinion. I don't know. I feel like the story was just like there to like make me like, I really wonder who's going to win this match. But at the same time, I will say I was a little. I feel like the thing with Regal was a little predictable, as they said he's going to be at ringside with Moxley. I feel like if they didn't add that, then it would have been a little bit better. I mean, that's just me though. But at the same time, I do love the heel turn. Anyways, I thought it was really well done. I mean, MJF is just an amazing wrestler. He's an amazing talent. He really does play the heel very well. Moxley, I love him. I love him very much. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. I think they definitely told a really good story. I mean, the match was phenomenal.
Yeah, I thought it was good, but again, for me, because I knew Regal was going to turn, it was hard for me to focus. Maybe I'll like rewatch it and focus on the match a bit more, but I kind of was just waiting for the heel turn to happen. So it was kind of hard for me to really like.
No, I agree with you on the fact that it was more predictable with that. But at the same time, like I said, I still feel it was probably one of their best, if not their best matches.
I'll have to go back and watch. I mean, I haven't seen any of their other matches to really judge, but I think again, guys, like I said earlier, I don't know if I said this on air or off, but like by the time I got to this match, I was like, dude, like I'm spent. Like
no, it was a long ass pay-per-view.
Yeah,
they should have cut out like 4 matches and then we would have been fine. But listen, I do agree. I thought that was a decent main event. The pay-per-view was good. I definitely recommend watching it. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars altogether. There are some matches that I didn't really care for, but it doesn't mean that they weren't good. And yeah, so Dynamite's coming up. We're excited for that. That's this Wednesday. When's the next? I think that was the last AEW pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah.
The next one is what? Revolution in February?
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Well, there you go. Well, I'll be there to cover that, and I hope all of you listeners will be as well. So, Tyler, Dan, thank you for taking the time. We're doing this late tonight. I appreciate the
Oh, no
time.
problem.
No problem, brother.
And
Happy to.
everybody listening, thank you for tuning in. Keep on listening, keep on checking us out, and keep on enjoying professional wrestling because it's making a comeback. You all come back to the mainstream, people. Enjoy it. But all right, we are out. Be safe. Bye, everybody.